Hello, friends. About 4,500 years ago, a wonder of the world was built in Egypt, one that continues to amaze people even today, the Great Pyramid of Giza. With a height of 147 meters, this remained the tallest structure in the world for over 4,000 years. Heavy stones were used to build the pyramids, and it is said to weigh 6 million tons. Compared to the present-day tallest structure, the Burj Khalifa, which weighs a mere 500,000 tons. The question that left people dumbstruck: how was it built? Back then, people didn't have cranes, bulldozers, or modern technology. So much so, they didn't even have wheels. Even so, they built a monument that still stands. Can you imagine a structure standing for over 4,500 years, through the hot summers, storms, torrential rains, and weathering? There's no other surviving structure as old as this, and as big as this. How was this made possible? Whenever you use Google, you will get this after putting in the speed of light. So keep an eye on what happens when you put Google Earth should display this number. Before I give my theory about who constructed the Great Pyramid, let's take a closer look at the two likely players.
On the face of the Earth. Built around 2500 BC, it is the tallest structure on Earth for more than 3,500 years.
Built as gargantuan tombs of shining white limestone, the pyramids were designed to hide dark secrets of the dead.
It becomes more challenging to determine with certainty what occurred, when, and how as we travel further into the past. The pharaoh Khufu is thought to have erected the Great Pyramid of Giza in the year 2560 BC. The term pharaoh refers to the ruling class in ancient Egypt. Only that Pharaoh Khufu was the second ruler of the 4th dynasty of the former country of Egypt is all that is known about him. Although the length of his reign is up for question, some historian estimations place it at 23 or 34 years. And if you see photos or videos of it, you'll see that it isn't the only pyramid. You'd see 2 other pyramids built on the same site. Of the 3, the tallest is the Pyramid of Giza, also known as the Pyramid of Khufu. Smaller than it is the Pyramid of Khafra, the second largest pyramid in Egypt. It is said to have been built by Khufu's son, Khafra. The third and the smallest is the Pyramid of Menkaura, said to have been built by Khafre's son. These are the only monuments from the era. In addition to these are the Great Sphinx, several burial tombs, and smaller pyramids. There are said to be a total of 118 pyramids of varying shapes and sizes. Many of them have been eroded by the weathering. Very few are in good condition. Perhaps the most well-preserved are these 3 pyramids, especially the Great Pyramid of Giza. Player number 1, Ancient Lost Civilization. Okay, I know this theory sounds a little far-fetched, but this is actually gaining a lot of momentum, especially thanks to the likes of Joe Rogan and Graham Hancock.
The specific example I give is above the King's Chamber in the Great Pyramid are 5 further chambers. And these chambers are roofed and floored with granite beams that weigh about 70 tons each. And there are hundreds of them. And these 70-ton granite beams, which to put in context, a 70-ton beam is equivalent in weight to 35 large SUVs. These 70-ton granite beams have been elevated to a height of more than 350 feet above the ground and carefully and precisely placed in position. It is very hard for archaeologists to explain how that was done using purely leverage and mechanical advantage.
That's really old.
It's incredibly old, yeah.
To think that someone back then could do something that would perplex us today with modern machinery. This is not a simple, and I've seen some of the conventional explanations of the construction of the pyramid, and they conveniently neglect those chambers above the King's Chamber.
They do.
They conveniently neglect a lot of those massive stones.
Yeah.
You already know that the structure and location is even more precise than our finest modern-day buildings. You already know that the pyramids are perhaps the most perplexing things on Earth. And so when we look at all of the dimensions, at all of the alignments, we cannot simply say that this is just a pure coincidence. That's why when we add all of this together, it's not completely barmy to believe that we're dealing with some kind of lost civilization who are harnessing a lost technology. But of course, this is only believed by people with an incredibly low IQ, right? Well, have you ever heard of this guy before, Nikola Tesla? The man responsible for 80 of the technology we use today, including X-ray radar, laser, and radio. Tesla believed that the Earth was a giant electrical generator and that we could use the planet with its poles to conduct wireless electricity. You probably thought that wireless electricity was a new technology, but all the way back in 1893 at the World's Fair, he shocked everyone by holding an isolated light bulb in his hand, and he lit it naturally using the free electricity that runs through the earth. So take all of that into your mind. Take a deep breath, because I'm going to introduce you to the plot twist of the century because of Nikola Tesla's work. This is why quite literally millions of people believe that the ancient pyramids are not tombs, but power plants emitting wireless technology. Hey, don't say I didn't warn you. I did say this was going to get controversial. And I've still got to tell you who I think made the Great Pyramid. But first, look carefully at this Egyptian ankh, and then compare it to Tesla's oscillator. Now check out these ancient Egyptian carvings, and notice what is it that this mysterious thing is holding. It looks like a wire and a ball. But get this, in 1934, these three artifacts were found together in one of the pyramids: a ceramic pot, a tube of copper, a wrought iron which contained a liquid acid, and all of these combined can be used to create a chemical reaction which produces electricity. Remember earlier how I told you that there was another theory for why there was water beneath the pyramids? Well, these same people who believe that these pyramids are energy sources, they believe that physioelectricity could be controlled by using the water from the Nile that runs beneath these pyramids. Look carefully at the esophaguses. These were clearly built into the pyramids as they were so large that you cannot move them. In fact, Egyptiologists, they believe that they were bull coffins. But those who believe this same theories say there's no way they were bull coffins. No, these are battery boxes. And in fact, in 2011, when a camera went inside one of these rooms, they found a large copper wire. And these same people claim that the hieroglyphics on the wall were showing some kind of wiring diagram, whether you buy into these speculations or not. No one can deny that the genius Nikola Tesla was fascinated by the Great Pyramid and its potential to produce limitless energy. He even imitated the structure by building his own electromagnetic pyramid called the Warden Cliff Tower. This utilized the Earth's resonance, creating wireless energy. Tesla even said that he used it to wirelessly transmit pictures and sounds, but sadly Tesla wasn't taken very seriously, and not only did many rip off his ideas, but in 1915 he ended up bankrupt with little reputation. And his transmitter tower was eventually destroyed by the authorities, who were very suspicious of its capabilities. You know exactly what I'm going to say next. Do you think that these pyramids were in fact power plants? Since I know that this method is true and proven, let me introduce you to player 2 today.